Hi. It is day 108. I have a little bee that's landed on my phone camera. How cute. It just came to say hi to me. And it is day 108 of 365 days of remembering. Trina right here. And I'm watching that little bee. It's very curious about my phone. So in the last video that I think I called it Soul Song. I will post it up there so you can check it out if you want. I had talked about this new space within my spiritual path that I'm on, which is a place of allowing some things that need to come up to be seen and to be let go of within my field, within this physically base still being, and to approach that from a soul perspective, to partner with my inner being and allow all of that to come. And I don't remember exactly where I left off, but I do know that since it first arose and I felt the sort of inner resistance come up to like not wanting to go there, probably because it's not fun, and two, because I had some preconceived ideas about being a consciously spiritual being means that I'm not going to choose to go down a path of things that don't feel good or that would attract more things that don't feel good to myself. To now sort of sit in this space of like, wait a minute, I'm here to meet the moment. I'm here to fully empty. I want to be an embodied expression of source, and I can't be embodied if I'm not responding to what is being invited to move through me. And I am still human. I'm a soul in a physical body on a physical plane, having a physical to some degree experience. Part of the work is to navigate this environment, to come out clean and to be able to be that expression no matter what, so to speak. And so partnering with my inner being, knowing that source is always right there for me, is part of this newest space in my path. And so what really came for me, which is really interesting, is this feeling of this new essence of my own self, like as if I am birthing myself into being. Sounds so bizarre, but as if I am experiencing this high level rebirth, which involves like purging and emptying. I mean, I used to teach childbirth classes. I used to teach hypnosis for women that were experiencing childbirth classes. I've used hypnosis myself. So I know a fair amount and I had 4 kids. So I know 2 at home and 2 in the hospital. So I know a lot about the birthing process itself. And so it is a time of purification, and it is a time of like just surrender, like full on surrender. And you know, I used to teach women that if you resist what I would call the waves, but the world calls them contractions, but waves or surges, if you resist those, it's going to be way worse, because in essence, your body knows exactly what to do. It knows how to open and allow your baby to come out. It's perfectly designed to do that. The sense of pain and the sense of tension that so many women experience is unnecessary. It's actually a result of fighting against the system that is within your body that knows what to do. It's because we have created so many beliefs around not trusting our bodies, not trusting this process of life, like the most visceral process of literally life being born through us that I could even think of. So anyway, I was feeling into the similarities in this process as if I am in labor of myself, like I'm in the labor of birthing myself, this new version of myself. And when we're in labor having a baby, we just, you know, because I had all different kinds of births, but when it really gets cool and when you really feel connected and attuned is when you're in acceptance, when you've surrendered, and when you just allow your body to do what it needs to do from a full place of trust, knowing full well that after each surge is over, after each wave comes, there's a pause, and then another one, and then a pause, and then there's another one. So there's this literally contracting and expanding and contracting and expanding. And when we're birthing, our body knows what we're doing. So I believe that my soul, in partnership with the person that I am and this character that I've embodied on a physical plane, knows exactly what I'm doing in terms of full on surrendering and full on emptying of this trauma, which in the last video I had mentioned is like an impression that didn't fully pass through. So it did more than just leave its beautiful little color to the portrait. It left much more than that, and some of that needs to just be allowed to leave. because in holding it, I'm not free. It's coloring the wrong way my whole experience, and it's jading me in many ways. And it's restricting the flow of the energy that just I'm meant to flow. And so part of the process is for me to just get out of the way and tune into my inner being, tune into awareness, and just allow it to happen. So I don't know when I did the last video, a day or two ago, and so I would like to report that since that's happened, I just feel this flow with it. Like sometimes something will come up and I'll just find myself crying, and then it'll pass and I'll be laughing. And it's just like, what does that flow look like? And it does just so much remind me of the labor process. And it's really interesting because it's like the idea, I don't know if you're familiar with this, but the idea of unassisted home birth, which became very empowering for many women to be their own midwife, to like believe that not only is birth natural, but it's so natural that they trust it so much that they don't even need medical intervention at all, that they're just going to trust and allow this power, this life force, this life literally to be born through them. I know there's this really cool movie, little show, and documentary, I think it's called Birth into Being, which is funny, and it's about women in Russia that go to the, I'm not sure, but I think it's the Red Sea, but go to a body of water where they feel this real spiritual connection, and they birth there, and they just go with their partners. Usually they come in a group, and from what I could see, there wasn't technically a midwife there, and their babies are just born so easily, and they just have a faith, and not only are they born, but they start swimming almost immediately, again, because they trust in the naturalness of it. So as a spiritual being, I know that my natural flow is well-being. I know that my natural flow is to be as empty as possible so I can be a pure channel for Source and for God, and ultimately for my own soul expression, for my own soul expansion. And so my clear job in this moment is nothing other than to just get it in my own way and to allow it, and to take on this role of like, how can I birth and be the midwife for the birthing of this energy that wants to lead me to then bring about the newest, most expanded version of myself, tuning into my inner being, using my guidance system, feeling like I am channeling Source and any other beings that want to support me in it, and just 100% trusting that not only do I have this, but that I am loved, I am supported, and this is one of those birthing processes. This is like a rebirth. And I had my astrological reading done, I don't know, months and months ago, like in 2019, and it's so interesting because most of my energy for this lifetime was in the house of death, transformation, rebirth. So interesting. And so I feel like this is connected to my calling. It's connected to why I'm here, which is to help be a midwife, to bring this new energy into the world. And part of that new energy is for every one of us to see that rebirthing of ourselves, that birthing of ourselves into the new beingness that we are, that we desire to be, that we're coming into, and being just in a state of allowing an acceptance of that energy. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just allowing myself to self-soothe, to resource myself from the inside out. So what I like to call self-sourcing, to pull myself fully into the remembering, the full-on knowing that everything I could ever need for this experience and for every other experience here on this physical path. I didn't come alone. I didn't come separated. I didn't come with no resources. I came full of everything I could ever need, easily accessible because it resides within me, with no other call except to trust that and flow in it. And so that is what I'm going to do, is just trust it, be it, flow it, allow it, and share with you from the basis of my own experience and from my heart as I move through it. And it is very, I just felt it right now as I said that. There was a little tiny bit of, because it's an energy. And sometimes I know what it is, and sometimes it just shows up. But it's so freeing to just be okay with it. And if it wants to move through me and bring a few tears with it, great. If it wants to move through me and bring some giggles for no reason, perfect. And just to have that neutrality about it and just trust that all is well. And this is sort of this transformation process of all of this stuff, not just this one trauma that I spoke about in the last video, but any time in my life that from this perspective of not knowing who I was, I didn't fully allow things to pass through me. And it's who we are. It's not who we are in the real sense, but it's who we've allowed ourselves to be in the belief sense, in the momentum sense, and as a collective. And so I know also that in allowing myself to purge this energy and allowing myself to be fully present, not only am I honoring it for me, I'm honoring it for the whole collective. And given what's going on, I think that's really, really powerful and really poignant. So I'm going to sit with the idea of being a midwife to the new frequency, and just see how that feels. It's so funny because a whole lot of my life, I was really enamored with the birth process, like the birth of a baby process, not only my own, because I had 4 kids. I just loved being pregnant. I loved giving birth. I loved new life. I just loved all of it. And then I would imagine being a childbirth educator, a doula, a midwife. I mean, sometimes I would feel like I should have been a midwife. And what's interesting is it all makes sense now, because I don't think I was meant to be a midwife for life, but I was meant to have all those experiences so I could sit here right now and understand how it's all connected and stand in the place of recognizing myself as a new type of midwife, a midwife of an energetic vibration, and bringing it to this planet. So I am so excited by that, and I will talk to you soon.